So welcome back. This is another video for TwitterDub. This time, this one is about custom databases. It's one of the least used, well, underused parts of TwitterDub because people don't realize it's there. And what it is, if you're doing a lot mass Twitter actions with mass accounts, having it all on one database, it's unmanageable because you just lose track of what you're doing, but B, using UK or whatever proxy rotating proxies, you can't distinguish the proxies. So as in here, you can't go in and say, right, I want to add the next proxy, so it's a different proxy than the others, and then go here to the actions, because you can still only use, you can't add two threads, so to do two things at the same time, because it can't distinguish between the proxies at the moment. I mean, you might update that, Martin might update it so that, it runs a thread per proxy. But initially what it's based on is that every single account has a separate proxy IP. And then you can run as many threads as you want because it'll do them on separate IPs. But the way that we do it, and the best way to keep really good accounts going, is to use the rotating IP proxies, the phone ones. So you can't do that. So to organize them, the easiest way is to create databases for X amount of accounts, or even not just X amount of accounts, but maybe even X amount of actions that you want to perform in a 24-hour period. So, for instance, if you just wanted to do one action per account on a 4-minute rotation, then you could do about 330 accounts on one database. But say, for instance, you wanted to do replies, follows, DMs, retweets, etc., etc. If it's taking longer than 4 minutes within that rotation of the IP, then that obviously the time spills over onto the next one, and you only have X amount of rotations per 24 hours, which is 1440 minutes. Divided by 4. So I hope that's clear. So when you decide what you're going to put in your database, are you going to put X amount of actions and X amount of accounts to do them, or are you just going to have a lot of accounts with a few actions in it? Right. So let's get back to creating the database itself. It's really simple. All you have to do is go up to File, Custom Database, and then create the name of the database. So I've already created a few databases. I can't even remember what they are. So I'll just create that. Now, when it opens, which it takes a second. There we go. It'll ask you to register, put your register key in and your email. Well, I'm not going to do that, obviously, on screen. So that's for your account, just like whenever you install it for the first time. So this is a custom database. I've called it video. You'll see in the top, it'll come up as whatever the name of, it'll come up as, it will every time, TwitterDub root jazz plus the name of the database. Now, on the flip side, if say you have to reboot your machine because of one of those Microsoft updates that pisses me off, but you come back and it's like, oh shit, they're all down. All my databases are down. What you can do is you can mass open databases. So you go custom database, and then you grab the names of the databases you want and just paste them in. And it'll open each one sequentially. So I suggest, like me, you keep a note of all of the databases that you've created and that you want to open up. Obviously, some of them you're going to ditch, some of them you don't want. So I'll cancel that because I don't need to create those. But the other thing is, if you want to find the actual databases you've forgotten, you created the database, you can't remember what the name of the database is, that's not too difficult. All you have to do is, and I can't, go down to the right, left-hand corner where it's got the little icon for search and type in app data root jazz, like that. I'm just going to do it, copy, open. Obviously you can't see me do it, and there you are. You've got all the databases and all the names of the databases. There is another way of doing it as well, but it's a bit more complicated, and that is to create separate shortcuts to the original Twitter exe file using the database name as the extension on the end, and then adding those to your startup folder. So if it does reboot, it'll automatically start them up. And then you add your run process on startup, and you come back the next morning when a stealth update has been done by Microsoft, and you'll find that they're all started again. The other thing is the databases. If you've got a database open or several databases open, you need to close them down if you get an update. Otherwise, you'd have to update each individual database themselves, and that's just a pain in the backside. It's better just to close them all down, close all of your Twitter down, and then install the update, and then restart them all again. Right. So, what is different between a database and your normal front end first time you open Twitter? Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Runs exactly the same way. So you can, but they're in their own separate boxes. So they don't conflict with each other. They don't overrun each other. So whatever you're going to do with a particular set of accounts, you do it in the database, and then you know what's happening with those accounts without having to scroll through thousands of accounts on the same page. I would recommend no more than 300 accounts. TwitterDub's different, and I'll go into that into another video. It's not the same as a lot of IM software or online software where it's just like bust and burn. You're just like, all right, I'll get 5,000 Indian accounts and I'll just burn through them. It's not the same. It's the Rolls Royce of software. This is designed to be run and kept your accounts running for years. I've got accounts that have been running on this since I think nearly 6-7 years old, maybe. And it's still running now to this day. And they've got lots of followers and do really well. So that's custom databases. So you, just like any other database, you Any other window of Twitter, you just import your accounts, set them all up, do what you need to do. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.